Hey.
Without objection, I'm going to call the meeting to order on behalf of Teresa Ayala. And do we have any public comments? I didn't hear. Carol, I don't think we have any comments by email or otherwise. Third item on the agenda is the approval of the October 2019 minutes, which we have a copy of, which was in October of 2019. Michael, you want to approve them?
So move.
Okay. Okay, that the minutes have been approved. Okay. Deliberation on audit reports. Okay, Nathan, it's all up to you now.
Yes, sir. The first audit report, the internal audit completed, was on the tuition waivers and exemption. A little bit of background on that audit. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. The state of Texas and TCC offers a number of opportunity to reduce or eliminate tuition. Students must submit required documentation to the admin and register office. Tuition must be paid by the established deadline if documentation or approval of an exemption or waiver is pending. Exemptions cover all tuition and in some cases fees. Students must be eligible for Texas tuition rates. All exemption programs are authorized by the state of Texas, which also dictates their condition. Our audit objective was to determine if the tuition waivers and exemption were completed in accordance with TCC policy procedures. Our audit scope covered the period of August 1st, 2018 through August 31st of 2019. We did obtain a population from the research department that TCC provided 4,357 students a tuition fee and exemption waiver totaling $5,868,209 during the audit period. From the population of 4,357, we determined there were 32 categories of the tuition and fee exemption waivers. We sampled the 5 largest categories, and we took a non-statistical judgmental sample of 20 students per category, which totaled our judgmental sample of 100 students. And we didn't identify any issues when we reviewed the documentation.
Any questions? Okay.
The next audit report we completed was the safety program. The Department of Safety and Emergency Management, a little bit of background about the audit. The Department of Safety and Emergency Management provides programs and resources to help prepare and protect TCC community in case of an emergency. In accordance with the state requirements, TCC shall maintain a multi-hazard emergency operation plan that provides for appropriate employee training, coordination with state and local entities, and implementation of a safety and security audit. Each public junior college district shall adopt and implement a multi-hazard emergency operation plan for use in the district facilities. The plan must address mitigation, preparedness, response, recovery, as defined by the commissioner in conjunction with the Governor's Office of Homeland Security. The 3 points that the plan must provide is the district employee training in responding to an emergency, measures to ensure coordination with the Texas Department of State Health Services and local emergency management services, law enforcement, health departments, and fire departments in the event of emergency. And the third area it needs to cover is the implementation of a required safety and security audit. What we did, the audit objective was to determine if the safety program is in compliance with TCC policy procedures. Our audit scope covered the period of January 1st, 2018 through November 30th of 2019. We did determine that the safety program is in compliance with TCC policy procedures. We did review the emergency operation plan, and we determined that it did include district employee training, responding to emergency measures to ensure coordination with the Texas Department of State Health and Services and local emergency management agencies, law enforcement, health department, and fire department, and the implementation of the required safety and security audit. However, as we did review the emergency operation plan, we did determine that there's some areas that could be strengthened. As far as the internal control, specifically, we reviewed the audit team, which is the risk assessment, TCC risk assessment department audit team, areas that was used in the 2018 safety and security audit. They complete these audit, when I say they, the risk assessment department completes the audit once every 3 years. So the most recent audit was the 2018 safety and security audit. Internal audit also reviewed the Texas School Safety Center facility audit checklist, which is an extension from Texas State University, to determine any other areas the audit team should consider for their next safety and security audit, which will happen in 2021. Internal Audit recommended that the audit team include the following areas in their next safety and security audit assessment. And it was 4 areas. The first area was neighborhood and school facility risk factors, such as crime in the neighborhood. The second element we suggest that they include is the emergency operation plan to ensure that it contains all the elements as required. So it's a checklist there. On the third item is to ensure the website that items should not be posted on the school website. So there's a checklist for there. And the fourth item we recommend is that they include health practices, especially during this COVID time, such as hand washing supplies are available in all restrooms and hand sanitizer is available to all staff and students and etc. We recommended that the Chief Operating Officer instruct the Director for the Department of Safety and Emergency Management to include the audit areas above. And Susan, who's the CO, agreed with it, and they're going to implement those areas in their next safety and security audit. Any questions or comments?
I don't. Is there any next step for this committee?
No, no, sir. No,
They're going to just do the recommendation. Okay.
yes, sir.
All right. I have no questions.
All right. The next item is the annual fiscal year 2021 audit plan.
Just a minute. Michael, do you know what we're doing here? I mean, have you been on this committee before?
You know, I have not.
Okay.
I hear him giving reports though regarding audit and things that the amount of dollars rather that we have spent. I just made some notes on tuition and otherwise.
Yeah,
So,
well, let me, Nathan, give Michael a summary of how you put together the fiscal audit plan. I mean, the matrix and so forth and so on, so we can understand what you're doing here. This is a new plan, Michael. Every year, an audit plan is created, and as I understand it, as Nathan will tell you, there is a matrix of risk factors that the auditors consider, and then they choose some. So Nathan, why don't you kind of give an explanation here?
Thank you, buddy.
Yes, sir. Basically, we have a 10-point risk factor, which is included on page 2, but every year we meet around this time to discuss the annual audit plan of the future audits that we're going to include for this upcoming fiscal year. We look at the TCC process as a whole for each area, for example, finance, real estate, all the different components that make up TCC. And we look at 10 risk factors that we take into determination for each business process, and we rate it high, medium, or low. Just because it's rated high doesn't mean that there's necessarily an exception or there's some issues there, but there's an area that we believe that internal audit should review. For example, there might not have been prior audits not done in that area, the volume of transactions, maybe it's a new program to TCC, things of that sort that warrant us to come in and take a look at it just to make sure that it's in compliance with policies and procedures. And based on that risk assessment, we draft an audit plan, which we discuss with the Chancellor, Audit and Finance Committee. And then obviously we get their input because this is just internal audits, prepare a plan. And then obviously if there's any other areas that anybody want us to include, we definitely will include it, and then obviously audit throughout the year. And then as we audit, we present it just as such, as I did with the safety program and the tuition waivers and fees, which was included last year's audit plan, and we present it to the governing body.
Okay.
And Michael, Teresa's not here, but if you hear anything that you think ought to be considered for audit, this is not laid in stone. At any time, we have another. What Nathan will do is every month, several months, give us a report on his progress. But if there are other things that we need to, if something comes up, we can discuss it at the meeting and consider whether or not it should be audited. And so and if there's anything that concerns you now or later on, or Teresa or me, we'll tell Nathan and the Chancellor and we'll talk about it. Okay, go ahead.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Okay. Okay.
No problem. The next item here is the actual fiscal year 2021 audit plan. The audit plan is a document, of course, that may change during the fiscal year as circumstances change, requests from management, changes in audit resources, or changes in TCC organizational operation may result in a change to the plan. So for the fiscal year 2021 audit plan, it will cover the period of September 1st, 2020 through August the 31st of 2021. Their internal audit department allocates its resources in a manner that is consistent with the mission and goals of TCC. The audit plan is designed to provide coverage of key business process during the given fiscal year. On page 2 of the audit plan, you'll see the 10 bullets that we take into consideration over the TCC processes, whether we rate them high, medium, or low. And then we come up on page 3 with the areas that we believe internal audit that we should include in the 2021 audit plan. Again, this is just our conclusions, but again, we can always modify based on input and suggestions. So on page 3, what we recommend for the 2021 audit plan is the areas of fixed assets, and the reason why is based upon the high volume of the fixed assets at TTC, and we also had a prior audit several years ago that we identified fixed assets that couldn't be located. Specifically, it was Dell computers. So we had some issues that in the past before in that area. I think we may want to revisit. And the second item we're going to suggest is the small minority and women-owned businesses, enterprises, specifically review. We haven't, internal audit has never reviewed that area. And also we want to review the internal controls over the processing and awarding of those contracts. The third item we're going to recommend in the audit plan is faculty evaluations. Internal audit, again, has not conducted an audit in that area. And actually, during a recent investigation, we identified a program director was not documenting faculty evaluation. So I think that's maybe another area we want to consider. And the fourth audit area is the Board of Trustees. And of course, we audit that area every year because that's in our internal audit charter. So that's what internal audit recommends for the 2021.
Carol, are you still on? Carol,
I am. I'm right here.
I can't remember. Do we? Is there any discussion, Michael, or anybody else about this? Any other any areas that Nathan ought to be considered right now? I don't have any particular concerns right now, and
I don't either.
So Carol, what I think we do is that Nathan, are you expecting kind of us to consent to this and recommend it to the board? That's what you want?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so Carol, I'll make a motion that we approve this to be recommended to the Board of Trustees at the next meeting.
All right, I second that.
Okay. Everybody says aye, and so Carol?
I think that's just fine.
Is that just fine? Okay. Okay, I'm the one that brought something else on the agenda. Michael, but we have a charter, Michael, that or bylaws that say, among other things, that once a year we're supposed to, and this doesn't have to be at this time, consider the independence of our independent auditors, which is Weaver and Tidwell. They're a really, really good audit firm. But the bylaws do say, and it is a best practice, that we consider at least once a year or periodically our auditors. And one of the subparagraphs is whether or not they should be rotated from time to time, or the partner is rotated. As a corporate lawyer, I just need to bring up that I've had some experience in this, and the Sarbanes-Oxley Act now, because of bad things that happen with audits with publicly held companies, was that things were not done correctly. And so every 5 years under federal law, publicly held companies are required to change or rotate their independent auditors. And so I thought I would bring this up. I think it is a best practice that we consider that, and I'll be very candid with you. I need to bring this up because we had a situation in the foundation meeting in which a foundation board meeting or a committee meeting in which the foundation, the auditor, Weaver and Tidwell, made some remarks about compliance with the investment policy, and that created an issue internally with us, and that kind of, for me, kind of sent up a red flag, and I just wanted to express that, and Susan on the and I don't want to go into the weeds, but I do think this is a policy measure, and we should consider at some point recommending to the board that we consider the independence of our auditors just as a matter of due diligence. We're supposed to ask questions of our, one of the bylaws says, and I have no idea where these came from, one of the bylaws says we're supposed to ask them questions about their independence. As I say, Weaver is a marvelous firm, but they have been the auditors since the beginning of the college, and so it might be good for us to make that recommendation. It doesn't have to be now, but maybe later. Susan, is Susan on the?
I am, yeah. So we agree with your thought process about appropriate rotation of auditors. I think it's always good to have a fresh pair of eyes. Based on the time of year that we are right now, we are anticipating in September bringing our engagement for Weaver for the upcoming year, because they've already started their pre-work that they normally do before the close of the year. But we would recommend doing an RFQ at the conclusion of their work to tee up for next year to have
Yeah. Well, thank you for that. See, just, and also to see what's out there, who's charging what. This happens to lawyers all the time, and sometimes we win, sometimes we lose. So, yeah, thank you, Susan. I think that's so we'll consider that later. Yeah, an RFQ later on. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
So I believe that's. Do we need a closed session, anybody?
Mr. Green, I got 3 hotline letters, sir. I got
The hotline letters. I'm so sorry. Oh, this is the fun part. Oh, yeah.
yes, sir. The first one here, I did receive 3 hotline complaints from the Texas State Auditor's Office, and I guess let me give some background a little bit on that. Part of our fraud, waste, and abuse process, we have a link on our website where anybody can go out and report, either anonymous or put their information out there, an allegation against Tarrant County College. Basically, the Texas State Auditor's Office will intake the information and send me a letter to the Internal Audit Department. We conduct the investigation, and in return, I'll report the results out back to the governing body here, and then obviously I'll report it right back out to the Texas State Auditor's Office. So basically, I did receive 3 separate allegations. I'll go over the first one here. This one is specifically geared around the Grapevine Collegeville ISD Collegiate Program. Internal Audit received a letter from the Texas State Auditor's Office on June 19, 2020 about a complaint regarding allegation and impropriety at TCC. A complaint was filed to the Texas State Auditor's Office that stated put in fake information so their daughters can be accepted to the Grapevine Collegeville ISD Collegiate Program. They own a house They were accepted to TCC on Harwood and Hurst to go to the collegiate program. We interviewed the Director of Academic Affairs at the Northeast Campus and the Assistant Principal of the Grapevine Colleyville ISD Collegiate Program to gain an understanding on student eligibility into the GC ISD Collegiate Program. We also reviewed student files to determine if the students were ineligible to enroll at TCC. Based upon our interviews with the Director of Academic Affairs and the Assistant Principal at GC ISD Collegiate Program and reviewing the student files, we did not identify any enrollment issues. So that's that first one, hotline complaint. Any questions or comments? The second hotline complaint I received, it was actually the same day from the Texas State Auditor's Office, June 19, 2020. It was another hotline complaint regarding allegations of improprieties at TCC. A complaint was filed to the Texas State Auditor's Office that stated has Tarrant County College equipment, vehicles, and other assets purchased with tax funds at his house. Some items are able to be seen from a drone. We interviewed and obtained a list of all TCC assets assigned to Mr. We conducted 100% physical inventory review of all the TCC assets assigned to, and we did not identify any issues. Any questions or comments on that one? Okay. The third hotline complaint I received from the Texas State Auditor's Office was dated June 26, 2020. It was saying regarding allegations of improprieties at TCC. A complaint was filed to the Texas State Auditor's Office that stated creates issues at the so he can pretend to fix the problem by hiring his friends from his personal life and previous employment. He created a problem with cleaning the. Up until then, there had been no issues. Then he hired his friend's company to clean the parking lots. The company is getting paid, yet they never showed up to do the work. Once other people were bringing it to the attention that nobody was even coming in for months on, the contract called for the parking lots to be cleaned weekly. Finally, somebody came out one time. It also created the issue with the interior plants. There was no issue before he was hired, and he created the problem so that his friend could create an account and get a contract. His behavior must have something to do with his drug and alcohol addiction, and is very public about his drug use. He needs help, and he needs help and needs to be assigned to a job that does not involve him being responsible with taxpayer funds, any involvement in contracts, or driving the company vehicles. We internal audit interviewed to determine TCC contracts for cleaning the and maintenance for the interior plants. We determined the TCC contracts with incorporate to clean the. We also determined a representative from. We also determined TCC contracts for the maintenance services. Both contracts that were approved through the TCC procurement process with no problems. Furthermore, we determined that Mr. does not have any drug and alcohol addiction. Any questions or comments on that one? Okay. And
I think that's it. Any other discussion? Harold, I would recommend that this be, Mr. Chair, Mr. President, put on the agenda, put this, our recommendation on the agenda for the next meeting. And Michael, any other questions, comments? Michael, you want to adjourn?
No, you know what? No, I'm good. I'm just glad that, all those hotline issues were investigated and happy day that they were unfounded. So good deal.
Good deal.
Really, really. So I move to adjourn.
Okay, I approve. Let's adjourn.
Thank you.
See you at 2:00.
See you at 2. Yeah.